Senior, my comment is T-Wolves in 5. That's right. The Warriors are tonight. You've tuned into the Valkyries' new podcast called Skaters on Baseball. Psych! Giants lose 2 out of 3. Christian and I are here. Krister is here. Coleman Sports. Everybody's tuning in to the hottest podcast on the YouTube world. Man, that was a rough game today. 8-7, bases loaded, and I thought Lamont Wade was going to be my scapegoat. So we got 3 scapegoats for today's game. Who are you going to pick? You got Lamont Wade, you got the backup catcher Huff, or you can go to what the rest of the world is whispering. Jordan Hicks.
How was Lamont even in the conversation? 1 at bat, drew a walk.
Because Lamont sucks, dude. Straight up.
Hicks is not a starter. I have been saying this for a long time, and it's just, listen, if he can rarely give you 5, and today, he couldn't even get out of the second or third? Oh, man, he ain't working. And then Birdsong's not getting enough regular reps, so he comes in and out of the bullpen. He's been really sharp a couple times, and a couple times it's like giving up the long ball. Today he gave up 2, right?
He just pitched 2 days ago. How often do you want him in there?
No, because he was in the starting rotation last year, and like you were arguing earlier in the season, maybe he should be in sack starting instead of being coming out of the bullpen in San Francisco. I feel like, see, this is Eric and I have been having this conversation for a while now. Hicks to the pen. I think he's a fantastic arm. I just don't think he's a starter. I think he throws too hard. The durability's not there to go 6-7 innings. And today he couldn't miss a bat, right? I mean, that first inning was just ugly. It's amazing they only scored 3, right? So, yeah, okay. So,
I mean, he throws a lot of ground balls. And I would say, as a guy that's just frustrated to hell with the offensive situation, pitching's the last thing we need to be looking at. Hicks, Verlander, whoever you want to blame, this team does not score enough runs to win. Verlander throws a great game. They don't score any. Then the other team gives up 7 runs, but we give up 8. It's just like they always are playing down to it's really frustrating out there. And I hate to say it, but Lamont Wade batting 7th, if he was first base, is killing us. Bailey 8th, killing us. And then, we're going to see what happens, but Fitz and Schmidt are in Sacramento. When they come back, Gerard's probably going to be coming back. So who are they going to get rid of? They got to get rid of Wisely and VR, but there's one more player they're going to have to get rid of. Is it going to be Lamont Wade? I doubt it. They're probably going to get rid of Matos or somebody, but they need to figure it out. And they need to have an accountable offense that can score enough runs to give Verlander a win, for Christ's sake. They give the fucking City Connects a win before they give Verlander a win. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, and Verlander's pitched well enough for a couple of wins already. And I hear people complaining about him. It's like, hey, it's not his fault. He's gotten no run support in these games, and the defense has let him down. The bullpen's let him down. So it's not, I mean, Wade, well, this is we should bring this up now. It's your Lamont Wade lament.
Yeah, I mean, the other day Lamont basically struck out with a man at third with less than 2 outs, and it was just the nail that it was the nail that put the coffin into the ground, because apparently he's working out with Barry Bonds now, and that's going to change everything. But we're 1/4 of the way in. It's not too early anymore. And we are right in the thick of things. We're 2 games above the Diamondbacks, which nobody predicted. We're above 500. Nobody, except for me, predicted. And we need to start putting this crap together. We got the A's coming in. We're going to sweep them just to put it right in Senior's face. And then we got Bobby Witt, one of the best players in baseball, coming to town. So we got our work cut out for us. I don't know what's going to happen in the next week. I think Schmidt and Fitz are ready by Sunday, maybe Monday at the latest. They'll be probably here for the Royals, and then Gerard's not till the 26th, I think. So there's people on their way, but we got to get this figured out. The thing I do like is it looks like Jung Hoo Lee is starting to get back to who he is, because we know he's a great hitter. Adames looks like he's found his swing a little bit. Moving the whole batting order around like they've done, that's fun in games till, I don't know. I think it's great that people started getting hits and stuff, but they got to figure something out. They got to put these guys in the right places and make shit happen. And we're going to see, but they're 4-6 against the National League West right now.
Yeah. It's not a great record against the NL West. Today's game was sort of an exclamation point on something that I've been kind of thinking about with the Giants lately, which is, you can't keep coming from behind all the time. Okay. It's great. It's exciting. Oh, we're down 2, 3, 4 runs and we came back and won that game. We came back and walked off that game, but you can't constantly play from behind. You got to shut down your opponent. You got to score early and score often and keep scoring. The game yesterday is a good example of what happens when you play the game the right way, which is you come back and then you keep adding on. If the Giants had only scored all those runs in that one inning and then never added on, they would have lost the game yesterday. But it was a great game. Koss gets them back into the black, and then they kept piling on, and they needed it because, the Diamondbacks are tough, and they were making a shot at coming back. So yeah, I don't dig the constantly playing from behind. And today the Jordan Hicks experience is like, you got a 3 spot on you right there in the first inning. It's like, again. So yeah. These are concerns. And I feel like you can't send Christian Koss down when those guys come back, because Koss he's batting 500 with runners in scoring position. Who else is doing that on the team? And he's not getting that many at bats. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, Wade, obviously he's got a little bit of leash until those guys come back, but there's going to have to be some tough decisions made in San Francisco, right?
Who made the final out today with the bases loaded?
It was Koss.
Yeah. And right before him, Yaz struck out. And so that's like 1 out with the bases loaded. All you got to do is hit a fly ball to the outfield and you tie the game. These are the things that can't happen anymore. And people want to jump all over Hicks, which is fine. I don't really care that much. But I think what I told you earlier is so true, that people are dying for the guy that's not here because there's no evidence yet. Like Eldridge. Then he comes up and sucks, and people are like, oh, this guy sucks. You were begging for the guy. You guys want Birdsong? He comes in, gives up 2 home runs. It's like, the problem is the offense. The pitching is not the problem. And the bullpen is one of the best in baseball. So I just think that if we could give these guys some support in the beginning, like you said, let's not always come from behind. Let's put up a 4 spot in the first inning and watch Logan Webb just cruise, right? Yeah. This is something that never happens with this team constantly. One thing about Hicks that everybody is right about is he's got the highest ERA in the first inning of any pitcher in baseball. Right. And that's a real big problem. I don't know why that is. I don't know if he's still acclimating to being a starter, but that's a huge problem. I think it's like 12 or 13 or something.
That's a problem when your offense isn't doing much except on the days where they get double-digit runs. It's kind of all or nothing with the Giants offensively right now. And so, yeah, I mean, in Hicks' defense, I mean, the stuff's great. Today he didn't have a good day, but he's a really great dynamic pitcher. I just feel like you're saying, the Giants aren't backing their pitchers with a lot of runs. Robbie Ray, undefeated in his starts, that's a shock, and no wins in Verlander starts. That's also a shock. Logan Webb, you expect it. Webb never gets any run support, right? So, yeah, I mean, the pitching isn't really the problem. I just kind of feel like we've seen the Hicks experiment now for a while, and it's, you got to have your starters be able to go more than 4.2 4 2/3. It's just, it doesn't work. So all in all, though, they're 6 games over 500, which I don't think anybody expected. I think you and I both thought that they were going to be good. I didn't think that they were going to be 6 games over 500 after a month and a half.
I said 5 games over 500 is what they're going to end up.
On the whole season?
86 wins. I believe that's 5 games over, right?
I think they could go higher, only because they've played a pretty rough schedule in the first month and a half, and for the rest of the month, it doesn't get that much easier, right?
Well, they haven't played the National League West very much. I mean, they have not played the Dodgers yet. They got swept by the Padres, and they lost 2 out of 3 to the Diamondbacks. So that, luckily we got the Rockies to beat up on, but it's going to be tough. We got to go in and beat these National League West teams or we're going to fall. Luckily we won 1 game with Arizona, so I think we're still 2 up on them, but those are the shifts that are going to happen quick. Like if we're all playing different teams, we can kind of but once we start playing each other, it's going to be like, bye.
Yeah. And I thought the Twins were just going to roll over and die, and the Giants were just going to mop them up. But the Twins got hot right before the Giants came to town, and they spanked them a little bit. And that series that the Giants played in Chicago was incredible. I mean, to take 2 out of 3 in Wrigley from the Cubs are red hot, right? So yeah, I was kind of hoping they'd do a little better over the weekend. And then this Arizona series you knew it was going to be tough. How many home runs did Corbin Carroll and Eugenio Suarez hit between them? 5?
I think Corbin Carroll hit at least 3 by himself because he's on my fantasy team. And I got his autograph yesterday.
I think Suarez had 2 today. So
I got Suarez's autograph too. So you remember last year, every time I get the autograph, someone hits a home run. Okay, well, I got a question for all our audience and my co-host here. We got a guy that gets at least 10 million, if not more, a year to be a starting pitcher. You want to put him into the bullpen, and then what do? We got a $10 million, $12 million relief pitcher. Is he at least the closer? And how do you work that out? Like, what is the plan here? Everybody wants to just be like, do this. And then it's like, okay, well, what's the rest of the how's it all play out, so to speak?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, if you take the dollars out of the equation, it makes it seem simpler. But
you can't do that.
I know, but then there's also the thing is like, what are the plans for the trade deadline with this team? Because I think Buster's going to want to make some moves if they're contending like they are now. And I don't think
where we are.
I don't think there's going to be a big fall off. In fact, I think when Fitz comes back, when Schmidt comes back, and when Girard comes back, this team gets more ammunition on the offense side, which is great, And as far as Wade, I mean, they make the decision when those guys are back. For right now, he's it. VR ain't nothing, I mean, he really isn't. Defensively, he's not that great, and offense is non-existent. I think he's had 2 hits or something. So, yeah, I kind of feel like Hicks could actually be on the block, the trade deadline,
But I mean, so these are the things that I think get discussed a lot by a lot of people, but I don't think that they really understand that why is somebody going to trade for a guy that this team doesn't even think is a starting pitcher that's overpaid to be a starting pitcher? Like, what are you going to get in return for that? And why would someone take it? Like, it's great that we have all these guys we want to trade, but like Luciano, all these guys, who wants them?
Nobody wants
to
them.
Trade somebody like Wisenhunt. I'm telling you, send Wisenhunt somewhere right now. He's hot and people want him. That's how you get a bat, because bats aren't coming here and everybody wants to protect Wisenhunt. It's like, you can't protect all the gems and think you're going to get a gem somehow in return. Right. You got to lose something to get something. So pick your poison and don't say Harrison and don't say Hicks, because I don't think they're at the top of other teams' desires right now. I think Wisenhunt might be, and Birdsong for sure is, but I feel like Birdsong's almost in the Webb category where he's like as untouchable gets for Giants. I mean, I think if the right deal's there, maybe, but it has to be really the right deal.
Yeah, yeah. And the only reason I sort of mentioned Hicks as a trade deadline piece for somebody else is like, look, he can be a high leverage bullpen guy for somebody else. You know what I mean? It's I don't know if I'd go that far. But yeah, like look, if there's some East Coast team that's in the thick of a pennant race and they just don't have a reliable high leverage late innings guy, Hicks could totally be attractive as part of a deal. And if it brings a big bat to SF, or even it brings another rotation type guy, or even another bullpen guy, it could be worth it. You got Birdsong, who we know can start. You know, he can take over that spot. That's the only reason I say it. I just never felt like it was a good fit is all, you know?
Yeah. And a lot of people are talking about how, like, you know, this is the thing too that I get, because I see when things happen, I'm a sucker. I dive in and I listen or I read. And what I'm seeing is a lot of people trying to give Buster credit for this dilemma. And it's like, look, this guy came into his position and Hicks was already signed for 2 more years at the rate he's making. It's not easy to just be like, he's not a starter. Let's put the highest paid dude in the bullpen. And he's not even going to be the closer. It's like, that is a huge thing for Buster to figure out. And maybe there were discussions about trying to trade him and there were no bites. We don't know. But it's not as easy as just like, Buster should just trade. It's like, dude, I'm pretty sure that everyone's in. I mean, it's all over everywhere that people, and I heard, because I was down at the ballpark today and the lady comes out that's working the hallways down by the dugout. And she's like, what happened to Hicks today? And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, he got pulled out. And I was like, yeah, he got pulled out of the game. He's like, he came in, threw his mitt and just lost his shit, swearing, screaming, going crazy. I was like, oh shit. So I think he's under the heat, you know?
Yeah. But I think that his rage out has everything to do with the fact that he's not happy with the performance he turned in the first inning. And then he came back out in the second and it was looking like the game was going to get way out of hand. Right. So Melvin doesn't have much choice there. He's pull him, you know, they got a day off tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. And it's like, hey man, like get him out, get somebody in who can, you know, cover a few innings, get Birdsong in there, whatever. So yeah, I'd be pissed too if I showed up and put in a shitty performance, right? You know, but he's probably feeling the heat a little bit.
I think he's under pressure. I think he knows, like, people are talking about him, and he's probably even talking about himself. Where it's like, dude, I got to pitch a better game. Like the last couple ones have not been working.
Yeah, well, and you got to assume that the majority of guys in the major leagues are going to be their own worst critics, and they probably don't pay attention to a lot of the media. I don't know about social media. I don't know. Some of these younger guys, maybe they're tuned into what's going on and they're actually reading stupid comments on the internet about themselves. Right. That's hopefully the last thing I'd be doing. If I was on that level, I'd be like, I don't care what anybody says, man. I got to show up at the ballpark every day and do my job. So yeah, I hope there's not a lot of that. And I mean, yeah, it's not like he's been bad, you know, it's just he hasn't been quite what I think we all expected, you know. And I'm never sold on converting guys, you know. Like I can see a guy who plays shortstop or second or third shifting over to first base in his later years. Those kinds of moves make sense to me. But like, look at the Astros putting Altuve in the outfield. He's got the weakest arm in all of baseball, in the history of baseball. Outfielders with like the worst arm ever. What did they say? His average speed of a throw from the outfield is something like 71 miles an hour. Come on, man. I can throw 71.
Yeah, they're just trying to find it's trying to hide him basically because he's having a tough time at second base too. But I don't know what's wrong with DH. I guess they already have probably a better DH in that situation.
Yeah. So to shift off Hicks a little bit, can we give Chris Koss some love? Dude, Christian Koss, that grand slam yesterday.
Yeah, the grand slam last night was insane. I mean, Dude, your first home run, your first major league home run. I think Brandon Crawford did it too. But
Crawford did it. Will Clark, I
grand
believe, did it.
slam. Did he? No,
Yeah.
Will Clark hit a home run against
Oh,
Nolan
he hit a
Ryan,
grand
his first one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that was amazing. And just like listening to that, I was like, no, he really did it. But Koss,
And then I thought
like
it was
Koss
going
a
to be,
lot.
it was set up for him today to be player of the week. I mean, if he
Yep.
gets a base hit and wins the game yesterday, he already has a Tops Now card today for yesterday's because that was his first home run and it was a grand slam. So Tops Now makes daily cards of the thing that happened the day before for select players. And I was like, oh my God, I'm sure it's happened before, but it rarely happens where the same player gets it 2 days in a row. And
Yep.
if he did the walk off today, that would have been insane. Like he'd probably come in and go, hey, Casey Schmidt, where are you playing when you get back, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And it was, I mean, he had another knock today. He had another hit, so
Yeah,
it's like,
he's swinging
Koss
good.
has been good. Yeah. And he's playing good defense too. He's great turning double plays. Him and Adames have a little thing going on there. It's almost like
Sweet
Crawford and Panic
hands.
2.0. Yeah. So I like it. And
I love it.
Wisely can go. Koss is rad. He's got all the gear with his name on it. It's just he's living the life, man. That's the kind of attitude we need.
Did you see the play where he was at first and he rounded second and ran into Lawler?
His Perdomo, right? Yeah, I didn't see it, but I was listening to the radio when it happened, and then I heard about all the craziness with Melvin came out, and the trainers came out, and then Lovullo came out and got tossed, and then
he was on the floor, like it looked like he was like hurt, and then yeah, but it was very weird because he was running full blast to third, and the dude's right in his way, and he runs into him. And nobody saw it, I don't think. So
right.
They were just like, okay, you're going to go at second when he should have been awarded third. I don't think the guy that hit the ball should be at second necessarily, but it should have been first and third, not first and second.
And third. Yeah.
But yeah, that was the issue that Bob was all bummed about. And then Lovullo came out and got thrown because he was doing his whole like, whoa.
Oh, he tossed the umps and the umps tossed him. He was pointing at all of them and making the you're out of here sign. So, and it's kind of funny. Like, it's like, really, man, you're getting this amped up about this particular situation. Like, these umpires aren't going to be real friendly to you next time you get this crew. It was kind of like, dude, there's not much argument there. Right. I mean, guys blocking the base path, Koss is coming around quick. It's like, hey man, shit happens. And it's just, yeah, it should have been first and third. It made sense. It didn't make sense to me when they couldn't figure it out on radio either. So
George, we've been talking about this. Thanks for showing up. So you put a 10, I should look up how much this guy makes, so I'm not just blurting out numbers, but it's 10 plus million. Do you just put him in as like the seventh inning man? Is that what you're thinking? Or like when you say put him in the bullpen, what does that even mean? Like, is Walker our closer? Is Duvall our closer? Is Hicks going to be the closer? Who's the closer? Where's Rogers' pitch? Where's Hicks' pitch? Like, and how much money is that going to blanket for anybody else? I think it's going to be a better idea if we can try to package him into a trade where maybe we even eat a little of the salary to get rid of him like we've done before. I think we did that with Tommy LaStella, for example, but it's been clear to me since Roop, Birdsong, and Kyle kind of stepped up in this, last year to now, that we needed a door to open. And it's obviously not going to be Verlander unless Verlander may go in and say, hey, Buster, can you please trade me? I came to get wins and I haven't done yet. Like, that's the only way he's not going to start. But Robbie Ray's our gun. Webb's our gun. So Hicks is the obvious target to like have Birdsong and Roop in there And then maybe even, with the velocity up again, it looks like Kyle might be pitching like we hoped he would. So there's a lot of optimism for the young arms. And yeah, Hicks is kind of a scapegoat in a way where it's like, I want to see, but I just warn everybody, I want you guys to record yourselves, because once this happens and it doesn't work, just remember this is what you wanted, because that's what bothers me the most. When people are like, just bring up Harrison, he's way better. And then Harrison gets shelled and you're like, screw Harrison. It's like, dude, this is a 162 game season. Let's figure this out.
People have to temper their reactionary responses to things. Like, I've heard a lot of people jump on Roop, and you look at what Roop's done. He's pitched really well. He hasn't given up that many runs. I mean, if I had a wish list for Landon Roop, I'd be like, hey man, develop one more pitch, figure out another weapon for your arsenal. But I've liked what he's done as a starter. I don't want to see him get knocked off. I don't want to see any rash decisions. And I'm really happy with what Kyle Harrison's done since he's come back up. I mean, he's looked really strong. Gave up a home run, okay, but he's looked sharp. He's looked like he looked when he first came up to the major leagues, And it's cool seeing him come out of the pen. It seems like it hasn't fucked with his head at all. So we can be happy about that,
No, I love Kyle.
Yeah. So it's all good on that side, And
so just for like a reference, so I can stop spitting like maybes, Camilo Doval makes $4 million a year. He was an all-star closer. Jordan Hicks makes $11 million a year. So he makes more than double what Camilo makes.
That's on my end.
We got motorcycles.
Yeah.
But you can't put someone that makes that much money into the 7th inning. Like, there's no way. That's like sending Yaz down when he's struggling. These things aren't going to happen. It's like you got to just like bear and grin it or try to get rid of. But there's no way he's going to go to sack, and there's no way he's going to be like a 6th, 7th inning guy. He's either going to be the closer, or he's going to stay in the rotation or get traded. I think those are the only 3 options for him.
Yep. And the way that Walker's been since he had the kid, oof,
it's tough.
Came out today and walked the first guy he faced, right? And it's like, what's going on, man? Are you not getting enough sleep? I mean, Walker was lights out all year. I think he had one bad game all of last season, and Doval's been good, man. He's and I think what's really been good is that Bailey or Huff, either one that's behind the plate when Doval's pitching, if he seems a little loose to the first batter, they just walk out there. The infield guys come in and they just tell him, like, you just pitch to contact, just throw the fastball, we got you. And then he settles in and he just dispatches guys. I mean, he's been really, really good, right? And it's nice to see him bounce back, because last year was ugly. It was ugly, So I'm I was in the camp of like, maybe we should unload him, but I think I was a little premature on that, right?
No way, man. 75 is for life, baby. You gotta back him. I love Camilo. I love his swagger. Everyone thinks he's not trying, but that's just his mindset. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. He just comes in and boom. But yeah, you're right, man. Like, Walker and Camilo have been very guilty of this 4 balls first batter syndrome. You cannot walk the leadoff guy in the 9th inning. It'll drive us all crazy. We already did torture year for years. We don't want that anymore. So the A's are coming in, and yes, it's going to be competitive. They've been spanking the old Doyers over in Chavez Latrine, where
whipped them last night.
Apparently, the bidets in America are a little stronger than Japan, because old Soseki is on the IL after a horrendous bidet accident in Chavez Latrine. And also, in other news, I just heard that, getting back to babies, Blake Snell had a baby last year, and now he's pretending he's hurt all year with this huge contract in LA. Another problem for the Doyers that we don't ever cry over. And Bob didn't call you back. Bye.
Yep.
Yeah,
they're dropping like flies so hard in LA that guess who's back this weekend? Kershaw.
Whoo, Kershaw, you suck.
Kershaw's back this weekend. So
Snell put his sperm in his woman, and she gave birth. But yeah, together they had a baby.
Well, there is a whole contingent out there that thinks that men can get pregnant and deliver babies. So maybe he's in that camp. Who knows?
Don't even get me started on that one. Hey, I do want to point out some good, because, you know, it's easy to get flustered. You really want to win the series against these rivals, National League West teams. But look, Adames hit his 10th double today. He hit a home run and a double yesterday. His bat is heating up. He's hitting balls off the bricks. He's going to right field. He's hitting it all over. That's the sign of a guy that's really getting in the groove. And I love to see that. My main man, my number one, you know who you are, Jung Hoo Lee. Even though you don't understand me necessarily, you know you're my number one. But this guy hit his first home run at home. And then he hits another home run day after. So Jung Hoo is back. He never left. People were like thinking he was getting figured out by the pitching. It's like, no. People have ups and downs, and he had a little bad week or whatever. But we've been facing some good pitching.
That's true. Yeah, a little bit of a bad week, but it's like in a month and a half to have one bad week, I'll take that all day long. You know, Chapman could step it up a little bit right now. It's been a little iffy, but yeah, overall, I mean, Jung Hoo Lee's been fantastic. And that home run, the sound that made when it hit the tin roof out there, it's great, beautiful, man.
Beautiful, man. Hey, beautiful, man.
There's been a lot of good stuff. I'm not, you know, I would have liked to see him do better the last two series, but, you know, hey, the win yesterday was a good boost. And I think the guys in the clubhouse, that even after losing a tough one today, it's like they got to be happy with how they bounced back from Minnesota, because things could have spiraled way out of control, you know?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like you got Arizona's, they're always tough, you know, and they always play the Giants tough, especially in SF. So to kind of like stay there and keep it going and get a win out of it and then move on to the next series. Yeah, it's all good. Pitching, you know, even with hiccup today, I mean, the pitching's been good. There haven't been a lot of problems. Robbie Ray was great.
Yeah, Robbie Ray is the story of the year so far. 6 wins. He's 6-0. The team has won 9 games. All 9 games that Robbie Ray started, the Giants have won, giving Robbie a 6-0 record. And he had to man up and be the guy that could break the losing streak of those shitty connects, which I kind of figured out, guys. Do you notice what color glove Adames wears?
Do
you know that color is in the City Connect? Now check this out. Guess which WNBA team is playing their first game ever in San Francisco Friday, and what color are they? Mind blown. So maybe there is a little City connection right there. And maybe just maybe your boy was backstage with Money Martin at the game the other day. Kate Martin of the Valkyries. I sent it to Glenn, and he's like, "Where are they?" I was like, "You're not seeing any Valkyries from Canada, bro."
You know, the problem is like the Lakers wear purple. You know, like, come on.
So do the Rockies.
You know? Pull out the Pantone guide and get out all the other team colors and go, okay, we're not doing any of this, right? You know,
it's a dilemma that we're gonna have to deal with. But here you go, boys. This is your boy and Kate Martin at the Giants game the other night. Look at that. Propping the Valkyries. V's up. V's up. So there you go. I got the exclusive before Glenn, so he can have the season tickets, but I get the personal time with them. So, yee.
Is he still locked up in Canada?
Yeah, I think he got trumped. I think he got. I think they're treating him like he's a tariff.
Well, it's what happens when you don't renew your visa. You think you can just hang around? Like, yeah, they're going to catch up with you, man. The man is coming. You got rules. You got rules.
They got rules. You got to abide by them. I'll tell you this. I told him, I've never gone to another country where I'm more scared crossing the border. Going into Canada, they give me worse time than anywhere else I've gone. It's like,
oh, yeah.
It's bad.
Carl Shipman got a one-way ticket back to England when he tried to go to the Slam City Jam in Canada. What's
the deal with this? Do you wear a mask inside your house?
Hell no. I don't wear a mask at all.
Eddie, what's
unless
up with
I peel this off and I got some kind of.
Hey, look at this. We got Eddie F and Eddie K's 2-4.
Yeah, Carl Shipman is when I was working at Deluxe. They went up for the Slam City Jam. I think it was the one that Bob won, beat Tony Hawk, right? And Shipman gets to the border with Canada, and they're like, "Oh, you're in the United States on an expired visa, and now you're trying to enter our country. Here's a plane ticket back to the UK." Boom, never to return, never to return, and like. There's reasons for that kind of suck, and I don't want to get into it, but I feel for Carl. He kind of got a raw deal. Anyways, what's the ETA on Schmidt and Fitz?
I'm saying by game 1 of the Royals, but maybe even sooner, depending on what they do today and tomorrow. They might be here for the Athletics. I think Fitz went like 2 for 3 yesterday. Okay. I didn't get to see what Schmidt did, but I'd say, if they're able to play, then bring them up. But a bruised rib or a cracked rib or whatever Fitz had, I thought it would keep him out much longer. And the oblique, we don't know.
Well, that's the thing is bones are not as bad as soft tissue. The oblique is, of the 2 injuries, you'd rather have the broken rib. Even though the pain factor is gnarly, it's, bones heal and they don't have nerves in them. You know what I mean?
I've never had a worse time than broken ribs. That was the worst time.
Yeah, no, they suck life. For sure. But I'm just like, in terms of coming back from it, and like Schmidt could take one bad swing now and be right back at where he was with the oblique. That one's not an easy one. So,
well, if he gets hit in the ribs, he's if you
probably
sneeze,
gonna be wearing,
you're messed up.
I bet Fitz will be wearing Kevlar at the plate, and he's probably on a no diving protocol in the infield for,
well, it's going to be tough. So, like, let's think about this. I guess Schmidt could play first base. That's where they were kind of playing him. But Fitz coming back is going to present problems, right? Like, are they going to have 2 right-handed second basemen? And which one are they going to play? Like, Koss is playing well. Do they just bring up Fitz because he's the elder statesman, or do they go with the hot hand? Like, what's going to happen there?
I think they're going to transition him in. I think that when Fitz first comes back, he's going to be kind of alternating DH with Wilmer and pinch hitting off the bench. And that might run for, a week, 10 days. And then I think they'll start platooning. I hate to say that word, him and Koss at second and kind of see what results they're getting. But ultimately, Koss is going to be the weapon off the bench. Fitz is going to be the everyday 2B. And that's
I like
fine.
that. I like having a bench.
Yep. Especially a guy like Koss who's got a little speed and he's great with runners in scoring position, men on base.
Yeah, he's getting good experience right now.
Yeah. And I like his attitude. So.
And I'll take Schmidt at first base too. I think like having his arm and his, what's going to be really cool is if they have Chapman at third, Koss at second, and Schmidt at first. That's potentially 3 Gold Gloves right there.
Could be.
Those guys are all great defensive. Their hands, like even Kuiper was saying, like he was just amazed by Koss's turning the double play, his hands, how he picks the balls up. He's like, this guy is the real deal. And then he was talking about he's taking good swings too. And then that night he hits a home run. So it was good to see the guy. And it's such a story for these guys that have been in the minors for so long. I mean, Koss isn't a young guy. He's been, he's been traveling. He went to the Red Sox and then he came over here. I think he was drafted by the Dodgers, maybe like the first year or so. But yeah, to see him start the season as a pro, like this is a big deal for him, and then get that first home run. Things are looking up. We're gonna be all right, guys. It's an up and down world we live in, and we just got to take the downs with the highs. It's like they say, you just got to keep that steady, right? Like you can't get too high, get too low. Tomorrow's another game, except for tomorrow's not another game. We finally get a day off, which they need, so that'll be good. And then we got Logan Webb, Orange Friday. Let's go.
Yep. Yeah. And think about this: they play 500 ball for another month. There's still 6 games over 500.
Right.
So it's like right now it's all cream, and it's just the injuries. I think the Giants could be like 8 or 9 above 500 if they didn't have Fitz get hurt and Schmidt get hurt and Gerard get hurt to start the year. Like they might be even a little higher in the standings. I'm not really paying that much attention to it. I think they're 3 games back as of right now, and we'll see what the A's and Dodgers do tonight. I think the Padres probably will win. So yeah, they could drop a game, but it's the record is the record, and we know they're playing for a wild card this year, right? They're not playing for the division. So you start looking around the league and looking at who your upcoming opponents are, and pick off the ones you can, win the series, try to win every series, try to get the sweeps where you can get them, like against the White Sox if they play them. The teams that you should beat up on, you have to beat up on. That's it.
That's right.
There's no option. You go into a weaker team's ballpark, you got to beat them. That's it.
100%. We just got a news update too. I just got this news flash. Auditions are open for the inaugural Valkyries mascot. Everyone in San Francisco can try out. The only problem there, I'm going to tell you something. I don't know if you guys know what a Valkyrie is, but a Valkyrie is a female warrior. So San Francisco's the place for anybody to apply, but I just don't know really what the mascot's going to be. So be careful for what you ask for, because you may end up in a thong on the middle of the court and a little 2-piece bra or something. We don't know. We don't know what the costume's going to be.
Folsom Street Fair cod piece with spikes on it. And who knows, man.
Oh. Hey, on the way out, do you want to really briefly discuss this thing about when people die, they get to go into the Hall of Fame?
Sure, why not?
I thought that was look, I've been dealing with this a lot in the last 5 to 10 years where people die and then everybody it's crazy how people when they're alive, they don't get the love. And then when they're dead, they get so much love. And it's just been a pet peeve of mine. I think Pete Rose should have been in the Hall of Fame 5 years after he retired. The guy bet on his team to win. What more can you do besides try to win? I understand gambling's a problem, even though MLB has used the gambling facilities as their number one advertiser. But I don't think that the hits leader in baseball should not be in the Hall of Fame, as well as the home run leader, as well as Roger Clemens, one of the, if not the best pitcher of his generation. I do have a theory. Are you ready for my theory?
Lay it on me.
I think they opened up the Pete Rose and the shoeless Joe Jackson and all the White Sox that threw their games because the FBI is getting closer to Shohei Ohtani getting arrested, and they want to make sure he can still make it into the Hall of Fame.
Well, I was a little bit confused because that word salad that Manfred threw out there kind of made it sound like if you run afoul of the league policy for the Hall of Fame, you have to die before they put you in. That's it. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, that whole
Banned
thing.
for life.
Yeah. And so the whole Pete Rose thing, like posthumously put him in the Hall of Fame, I'm sure he'd be pissed, man. I mean, wasn't he talking about it like a week before he died? Like, I don't want him to put me in the Hall after I die. Like, what is this nonsense? Yep. Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. I bet on baseball.
Rose. I have a fundamental issue with the Hall of Fame only because it's the Baseball Writers Association of America are the ones who are calling the shots. Media guys, they never played the game. These are
which I don't understand. Who made who put this together and thought that was the formula?
Well, and then it created a model for all these other horrible things like SOTY, where like people vote, but then somebody else like says, no, it's this guy. Right?
I don't know what you're talking about, but getting
well,
back
it's
to
not
baseball,
that way anymore.
It never was that way. But I can't understand the way that these writers are in charge of something. Number one, it's history. So if baseball is going to say, MLB says Barry Bonds is the all-time home run leader, this is MLB official results. Who's the Hall of Fame and these writers or whoever, who are they to say, well, he's not getting into our club? Yeah. What kind of Hall of Fame doesn't have all the greatest players? Regardless of what you did off the field or whatever, you need to have, unless MLB says, oops, asterisk, this guy did something illegal, which he never got tested for, never pissed dirty. So I think all these guys, I think this should just be like the Smithsonian, or like, if you go to the Smithsonian, right down the street, there's a Holocaust museum. That was nothing cool, but it's history. Like, we need to see this stuff happen. They can have the story. There was rumors that he took steroids, but he never pissed dirty. Like, this is part of the story. So you have these guys in the museum and you say, not only is this whatever story you want to read, but this is the guy that hit more home runs than anyone else in the history of the ball game.
Yeah.
So
well, especially since you can go to Cooperstown and you can walk in there and see the bat that hit 762.
Right.
You can see the guy's glove. You could see Pete Rose, whatever. Like, they got all kinds of memorabilia and stuff. They can make these little displays, and then you're going to deny that guy being in there, but his gear is in there. I mean, that's bullshit, right?
That is BS. You heard it here first. Skaters on Baseball. There's a Warriors game starting right now, so I gotta go.
Yeah.
But thanks for everybody to tuning in. We will be back Sunday after the A series.
Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay. And at some point we're gonna have another guest on, so we'll get that going too. But
yeah, we got guests.
Looking forward to this. I think this A series is gonna be really entertaining. I think it's gonna be good.
I'm scared, but I think we can do it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, cool. Well, good luck, Coleman. I hope your Cubs can keep running good. Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, Coleman. Let's get some wins when any National League West team comes in. Oh, by the way, I know you live in Utah, but I'm going to Chicago. I'll be at Wrigley in about 2 weeks, I think. So if there's anything you want me to pick you up or take a photo of and send your way, I got you. I'm going to try to get some autographs while I'm in town. I'm not sure who they're even playing yet, but we're going to Detroit to see the Giants play. Then we're going to take the choo-choo train up into Chicago, stay up there for 4 or 5 nights. And I'm going to try to, I don't know if the White Sox are in town, but for sure I'm going to try to go to Wrigley. So I love Wrigley. It's my 3rd favorite stadium. Giants, Fenway, Wrigley. That's my top 3.
North side, South side rivalry. Going to see that? That'd be cool, man.
Are they playing each other?
I don't know. You said it. So.
No, I don't know if I'm going to make it to the White Sox game. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if White Sox are in town. I don't know what's going on with them, but I know Cubs are in town. So I'm guessing they won't both be in town at the same time unless they're playing each other.
Look up the schedule, see what's going on there. If they were playing each other, that would be a great one to go to.
Yeah. All right. Well, go Warriors or go home. That's what tonight is. It's all on the line. And there's rumors that Steph Curry could be possibly available if they make it to game 6. I don't know if they can make it to game 6. I just went to the game the other night and they looked like they weren't up to the challenge. But tonight's a new night. So let's go.
Yep. Get it.
Well, thank y'all. This is the end of our segment. And to all you ganja farmers out there, V's up.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Skaters on Baseball. If you liked what you heard, please spread the word, give us a good review, or hell, blow us up on your social media if you're down. Follow us at Skates on Base on Instagram for baseball news and other fun stuff. We love comments and listener participation, so bring it with an audio clip or an email. You can email us at skatersonbase@gmail.com. We're everywhere you get your podcasts, and we'll be here all season long.
Let's go, San Francisco. Let's go, Giants.
Dude, that was one of the most mind-blowing shows I've seen to this day.
Much love.
Adios! See you soon. Thank you.
And I am forever a Giant.